to make the time worthy of so many participants who have joined us today. So I hope that I can succeed in that endeavor. But yes, the intent is very much that. Um, Having said that, I'll just try to share my deck. Just give me a second and let me know if you can sort of view my screen. Shikta, is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Right. So I mean, you might be wondering that if we are looking at leadership and we are looking at generation next, then, why is designing classroom? What does that it have to do with it? So I just want to spend a few seconds to say what was my, when Shikta approached me for this and she knows this, I went through a lot of changes in my mind as to what I wanted to cover here and what I thought would be meaningful for you, also play to my strengths, because I can come and talk on different topics, but what's beneficial for the two of us. So from my point of view, when you develop leaders and when we are talking about generation next, it's a very very niche sample, right? And currently in the workforce we have a multi generational workforce. So everybody from people, old people like me, to younger people, to the people that you have in your classrooms, are all now coming into the workforce. But we are talking about generation next, which has been known by many names. So when we are talking about that generation, then what is it that's, how do we should look at it in both ways. Now before I go into that, I know that all of us are very used to this acronym, probably VUCA, right? It's spelled out on the slide, and I don't want to really spell it out for us. But this term is not new. It started 2 3 years back, or at least maybe 4 to 5 years back. Our profs in the group may know better than me, because I don't claim to be an expert on these things. But what happens is that truly when this the epidemic hit us, that's where we realize the true meaning of VUCA. People would like, ab VUCA hua. We've been talking about so much of transformation, change, and hence, in as teachers or as instructional professionals, we use the term pedagogy, which is about the science of teaching, right? So the big jokes that came out these days, where I don't know how many of you are familiar with this talk, I mean, with these terms. Can you at least in the chat window tell me if you have heard of these terms? Panicagogy and pandemagogy? Anyone? Yes, no, just simple. Shikha, let me know if there are any responses, because I'm not able
Yes,
to,
yes.
yeah, when I'm in the chat mode, I'm sorry, when I'm in the
Yeah,
presentation.
many of them are the responses no.
Okay. So,
Many of them
yeah,
no.
yeah. So I love these kind of new terms or jargon. I'm a, like, I just fall for those. So when we talk about panicagogy, they're basically saying, what does it mean? It means that, we should understand in this particular situation, instead of panic and how do we teach in the virtual medium, suddenly everything has gone online. We are panicking. We are trying to be the best versions of ourselves that we were in the classroom. But one should be also about understanding practicalities. One should be about understanding, for example, having a sense of care to the students, having empathy, together coming up and meeting our challenges, right? So remember this, my I come from the business where my business is to design digital learning courses. So this virtual learning thing is something that I have been in that field for 20 plus years. 25 years back, I was teaching virtual courses to MBA, virtual MBA, right? So it's not something new, believe me. And we are all, some of us are very good at it, some of us are struggling, but it's not something we should whip ourselves about, because people like me who make a profession out of that, we take months, sometimes a year, to design a really good digital course. So it's not something that is very, quick. So in that context, our current people, the all the faculty people who came and adapted to the virtual medium, it's like really kudos to everybody. So the pandemagogy and the panicagogy is basically how you adapt your pedagogy to the current pandemic situation, or how suddenly there was a widespread panic, right? And people have had to adapt in just like 4 5 days or weeks. to come into the complete virtual medium. So I think one like well-deserved clap to all faculty who could come in there. So in that sense, you all are leaders, right? We all are leaders. That is probably what is also a definition of leadership. That how do you adapt? How do you sort of dynamically change everything, and how do you pivot? Like for me, pivot is a very important word. So how do you pivot yourself and come and meet the requirements? Here, this was a reality. Now this is a reality. Can I immediately adapt? Can I be agile about it? Those are the signs of a leader, and every teacher is a leader, right? That's a thought I really believe in. So, like similarly, the other concept I wanted to arrive at is like, what's a black swan event? Again, any familiarity with black swan as a term? It's again made popular by theorists in quite some time. Shikta, let me know if there are people familiar with the term. I see some orange lights flashing, so maybe
Yes,
some
they are
people.
saying few of them are familiar.
Okay, okay.
Like Shan
So,
Ghosh, they are familiar, but rest of them are no, they're
okay,
not.
okay. So, Shikta, I know you are, I think, aware of the Black Swan event, and there are
Yeah.
certain Black Swan events. Do you want to just share a perspective on that? Just a second. I'm sorry to put you on a spot like that, but
No, no, not
that's my
at.
habit.
So Black Swan event, yes, we have come through in terms of those global financial crisis, which was considered,
Right.
and few of those great financial crisis along with the Great Depression. That was also
Yes,
considered
that
in
was a
terms of
Black
the
Swan.
where the economy had completely sludged down as per us, not only the US, which was the birth of that event, but its effect was huge in
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of that.
Global.
It's
So,
completely global.
yeah,
So that has
well said.
completely sludged down the level of entire economy.
Well said. Yeah. So if we go from a definition, since a lot of people are not familiar with the term, you'll see why I'm quoting that it is a black swan event. It's because it's something. The first characteristic is that it's an unpredictable event, right? It is beyond any normal expectation, and it has severe consequences. So let's break it down in three parts. One is it is unpredictable. Second, it is severe. And the third is that it is basically, not expected at all. So unpredictable, unexpected, and severe, right? Now you understand why I'm saying that the COVID-19 also is a black swan event, right? Because, and these events are very rare, right? So that's also, it has severe impact. Like Shikta said, it sometimes has a global impact. It's widespread. And in hindsight, you realize that, acha, okay, this is how it had happened. Other examples, apart from the Great Depression and financial crisis, the 9/11 attack in the US, right? World War One. These are all black swan events. So currently, we are all going through this black swan event. How does it ever impact leadership? Again, to draw the connect. Basically, when you are in a black swan event, it's basically you don't know the scope, and there is a lot of uncertainty. So what happens is that sometimes leaders are challenged to find answers or to resolve, because nobody actually is able to resolve it very easily. So that is the problem that happens. So where are we here now? Why are we even talking about this thing? Is it all gloom and doom? It's been like, I don't know how many, like we are like 10, 11 months into the pandemic. Like I was telling somebody yesterday, there seems to be no expiry date on this pandemic, right? It's on. I mean, vaccines. I know people who have taken the vaccine are in the window, but still are getting affected. So all those things are there. But as with human beings, I think our focus, again, since we are all leaders here, our focus should be on how can we utilize this situation to our benefit, right? How do we, not only do we adapt to it, but how do we make it our own in a sense? So from that perspective, and especially when we are talking about the, whether we call them Gen Z, or we call them millennials, or we call them Generation Next. I mean, they have many names, like each funkier than the other. But how do we utilize this situation as teaching professionals or instructional people or faculty or management or even corporates? How do we utilize it to motivate and to guide our, whether it is our young employees or our students, right? So which is here, I thought that I could just very briefly touch upon a few points, right? We are calling this the Gen Next, but as I said, it's called Gen Z, or some people call it the iGen. I think there is a pun there. One is the I is of course part of, because they're so familiar with Apple products and that kind of design. But it's also that I, it's all about me, me generation. So they have some of their characteristics. Remember, they have grown up in a digital world. From their birth, they have never experienced a world where there was no internet or there was no digital devices, right? So the media that they consume, it's called as snack media, because they want, wo chota packet, like they have the ads, chota packet bada maza or whatever, I don't remember the ad, but it's like they like what we call as bite sized information pieces. So gone are the days when we would have, like, if they would sit in a class zombie like for 2 hours and they will listen to us. Obviously there is very little retention, but that's our traditional, that used to be our traditional style. Okay, that has been changing for a lot of time, and I think most of you must have modified your patterns of teaching and curriculum design to sort of suit that, right? So think, how do they communicate? They communicate Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, my niece thinks I'm fairly outdated because I'm still on Facebook, right? And I thought that, oh no, hey, I was this modern person. I'm on Facebook and I keep posting and sharing. But she's like, Facebook is so, old. You have to be on Insta, or you have to be on Snapchat. Instagram छोटा सा word है. Instagram बोलने को भी उनको तकलीफ है. It's Insta. So those are the kind of people that we are dealing with, and these are the people we need to look at from two perspectives. If I again draw the connect to leadership, these are the people who we have to lead, as whether it is as seniors in the corporate, or whether it is as faculty members, or in any or even if you have teenage and older children, right? So we have to motivate them. We have to utilize their personality characteristics to motivate them in order to either learn better or perform better or simply be better human beings. I don't know. So that is one thing. Second is that remember that these people are going to be the leaders of the next generation. So we have to, one, be leaders for them so that they listen to us, and B, develop leadership traits in them. So if we take a classroom context, what are the advantages they are bringing to us, right? Because these are the guys, even before we have the term influencer, these are the guys who play a social role of influencing, right? It's basically they who sort of do this as digital natives, right? There's one more term. They are called as hyper cognitive generation. Hyper cognitive. If you look up the word, there is like, they are like superly thinking about every little thing, very socially conscious. So how do we utilize that into our design of classrooms is why I think that this situation where we are into virtual teaching, virtual classrooms, where we are getting a lot of young people into our classrooms and companies, uh, we have a lot of opportunity to utilize them and to teach better also as a result of that. So what I mean is, when you have your environment, when you're using so many technology, you can even teach them behavioral skills. We have the facility to provide immediate feedback, right? Because now, for example, we are in a virtual session right now. And when I'm asking you stuff, I'm getting immediate feedback. Like we are using chat, but if we were in a class, everybody's videos would be on and they could unmute themselves and actually we would have a conversation. So the physical world not being there, or we not being in the physical world, cannot really constrict us. If it is confining us, then the limitation is in our own thinking. The limitation is not in the technology. Technology is going to help you. You have to think of ways to use it, right? So we can, even the role plays and all that we do in class, we can conduct. I mean, I wish we had the time. Even we are using Zoom, we could easily create our breakout rooms and channels and all of that in Zoom or Teams or Google Meet or whatever tool you are using. So collaboration is important. Now, these points I have put here are points I have put from two aspects. One is that technology can help you do this. And second is that this particular Gen Next finds these things interesting. These are the things that will sort of sustain their engagement in classrooms or in jobs. So they should be able to use any device they want. Like, for example, it should not be only for iOS or only it should not be for Android. Whatever you say, it should not be that only on the cell phone or on the tab or on the laptop. That's what I mean as being device agnostic, that it should work across. Similarly, as I said, they like snacking, media snack is what is called. So use mixed media, use a job aid, show a virtual lab, use some simulation, use lecture, give quizzes, mix it up. Otherwise, they get bored, right? And they also believe a lot in autonomy, and they will do their own self study. They don't want it to be spoon fed everything. Right? So these are some of the points I just wanted to and they have the ability to learn anytime, anywhere, and they do that anyways. Whether you put them into a virtual classroom or a physical classroom, they will learn outside the classroom as well, right? I hope I am audible and everything is clear so far. Let me know
Yes,
if
ma'am.
anybody has a problem. Thank you so much.
You're audible.
Thank you. So we'll just move ahead and we'll just go very quickly into when I, as a designer, go into designing classrooms, what do I do? I'm hoping that some of it may resonate with you, some of it may not. But just bear with me here because I will obviously come from my point of experience and reference, hoping that you guys will like or find some of it useful. If you some of it which may not be direct relevant, just humor me and listen to me, or you know have a quick 5 minute break. So obviously, when we design classrooms of today, these are some of the words that I said. Like I've already talked about device agnostic. It has to be blended. I spoke about mixing up, and it has to be collaborative because there is a huge value our students feel in, in working in teams and groups. Excuse me. So the point I'm trying to make is that for every profession, the world's DNA itself is changing. As human beings, maybe our DNA is still the same and it's not adapted at that quick level. But in the world, it's changing and we have to adapt very quickly, right? And nobody can say that, I don't have the time or I will take years. Earlier, it was like that. No, I like to give this example where earlier it was there was a world where we were born, we studied, we worked, and we retired, right? Now everything is simultaneously. We are working, we are studying parallelly. There is really no set retirement that way because you can keep working in different ways because of digital and because of technology. There are a lot of more avenues open to us. So everything is happening parallelly, right? So if I if I feel that okay, I'm a PhD and I've done this and to ho gaya, I've finished my studies. No, every 6 months, every 1 year, I have to upskill myself. And I keep doing different courses. Right now at this particular stage, I'm trying to actually work on a tool, a rapid development tool like Articulate or Beyond, and see if I can design and create those videos myself for class, all of that. So we all have to keep on upskilling. So what I'll try to do and do it very quickly and not bore you with it, hopefully, is that use like in design, typically we use what is called as the ADDIE model, ADDIE. Again, anyone familiar with it? ADDIE, ADDIE. Come on, say no, make my day. No responses so far. Okay, I see some orange flashing, Shukta. Did someone say yes and break my heart?
Yes, yes, ma'am, please.
Shukta? Yes. So when we are talking about ADDIE, I sort of have tweaked that a little, and I use this as part of when I work on hands-on on projects and do this kind of high-level designing. Uh, I like to call what I call it as PADE, and a D3. And so basically, it's we don't have a P in the ADDIE model. We usually have analyze, design, develop, deliver, ADD, and then you have for IE, you have implement and evaluate, right? So I'm saying that my implement is actually deliver because I'm delivering a talk or delivering a class or delivering a session. We are talking about instructor-led training here. And so hence my D becomes D3 instead of the D2 that is there. I have added a prepare level to it because I think the prep work is comes even before analyze. Okay. And then instead of saying implement and evaluate, because implement has gone in deliver, I say evaluate and improve. Okay. So imagine, try to map this to any curriculum that you are designing, any class that you are taking. It can be at any level. It can be at a 45-minute or a 1 hour class level. It can be at a, like a module or a lesson or a chapter level, or it can be at a overall curriculum. You are teaching chemistry, then how do you want to go about it? How are you going to design your curriculum? What is your lesson plan? What will you include, right? And we usually follow this even in the digital design. Okay. So if we go into each one, I'll just go very quickly. So when we are doing prepare, obviously we have to look at what are the requirements, right? If it is a program, what are the requirements? Is there a business need? I'm sure when Shikta was preparing the curriculum of this particular FDP, she would have gone into this prepare stage first, right? That what are the requirements? Who will be my target audience? What is their age group? Are they all familiar with computers? Is there anything? Is there, for example, like a language point that I should consider, right? Because all of us come from different regional places. Maybe I should not be using a particular language, but maybe I should use a Hindi or maybe a English. That's why we are using English, because all of us at this level of education have to be familiar with English, right? So what are there any language barriers? Then in terms of a facilitation, who are the facilitators? Like here you will have some facilitators who are internal to the infrastructure that Shikta and KSOM works in, but then there are external presenters like us. So are we familiar with the tool which is Zoom that we are using? So some of these kind of things, right? What are the business needs? If I design a program, I'm designing it for a client who's going to give me like $1 million. So I need to map it to the business needs. What are their goals? How much time do they have? How much budget do they have? If they have a very low budget and I say that, okay, I'm going to give virtual reality kind of a design to you, it's not going to cut ice, right? So very quickly, that's the prepare stage. When we are going into analyzing, I mean, all of you do that for your own classes probably. But what's the type of content that I'm teaching? Today, am I teaching very complex something? Am I teaching soft skills? Am I teaching, for example, conflict management? Is it behavioral? What's my class size? How much expertise? Like all of you are expert people here, right? None of you are at the start, or you guys are highly educated, working experience, everything. So your expertise level is at a certain level, and I can't come and talk basics to you because I'll lose you at the first 5-10 minutes, right? So those kind of parameters influence us heavily. Even what technology are we using? Is it a self-paced thing that I'll just record this talk and give it to you? But is it something that is synchronous and live so that you can ask me questions, there can be interaction? So those are factors that you keep in mind when you are designing some kind of a curriculum. Similarly, for design, when you go into the design stage, you find that what do we do? How are you going to sort of sustain attention? Because, for example, one of my biggest concerns for this session was that, oh my God, it's like 1.5 hours. Who's going to listen to somebody for 1.5 hours? How do I design it so that we have some interaction, we have some discussion, hopefully I engage. So maybe, it's not just all talk. And how do we do it? Because we are not even in the classroom. When you're in a classroom, you will walk around, you'll go and ask people questions. People will ask you questions, right? So how am I going to build in the engagement? Should I have probably sent you some pre-reading, right? Flipped it so that we have some pre-reading, and when you come here, we do a 30-minute session where we are just chatting and discussing and doing that. It's also very popular nowadays, right? Like the Khan Academy, if you guys refer to it, they use this flipped learning model. In the corporate world, we use flipped learning. Anybody familiar with flipped learning model? This is the afternoon post-lunch session. I'm just checking anybody sleeping or everybody awake. Flipped learning, anyone? Though I have sort of defined there, but I just wanted to know that if there is familiarity and do you guys use it anytime in your own classes and design?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we have done.
Right. So, so when we do that, that's also a very good way to utilize the face-to-face time. Because especially when I work with a lot of corporates, so in corporate training, they like to the time of the faculty there, because the faculty is their senior employees, right? So they would rather that that employee is working on revenue work rather than doing training. So that's where we actually try to give them a lot of pre-read, give them web-based training so that they understand the basics. And then when the faculty is there, then it is actually, interactivities or exercises or answering questions or doing higher level activities, right? So anyway, you would have seen this screen. I'm not going to read through it, but the last point is very important. What's the sustainment strategy? It can't be like, like they say, na, that I came, I saw, I conquered, and then I ran away. Can't be like that, that I come to class, I just teach something and then I go away. But then I also have to see that how do I sustain that learning? Are the students then discussing that? Are they doing something about that? Are they taking it forward? Right? So those are some considerations. I'm just touching upon very few, otherwise it will get very long and boring, right? So similarly, when you are actually in the development stage, it's the stage that I find very, very interesting, because this is the stage we are also, it's also very high touch. This is the stage we are discussing with a lot of, when I am in a design team, I would discuss with my visual designer, I will discuss with my software designer, the client, if there is a subject matter expert like you there, I'll discuss. So we decide that what are the guidelines, what sort of complexity should it be at? How much interactivity should there be? Right? How do we take into account the audience's attention span? When I'm building the content, am I building any collaterals in the sense that after class, am I going to give you some extra reading material? Am I going to give you a job aid? Am I going to give you a mind map or an infographic that will help you understand this better? Am I going to give you an assignment, for example? So that's the kind of thinking that happens in the develop part. Now, similarly, when we are, this part is important for instructor-led training, which is done virtually, right? So I'm sure that, people who have designed this FTP would have done a lot of these. So where sometimes you have to upload the content, you'll have to do everything, all the fixes. You do some trial runs that is it working correctly? Then we got all these, emails. We get these links for the Zoom class, then we get triggers or alerts, correct? And then in the class, hopefully we do some in-session activities and all of that. So there is a checklist that, one should probably refer to. And if you are designing things like breakout rooms, are you going to record it? Do you want to switch on the captioning so that as I'm talking, for example, there would be a live captioning happening below here somewhere, so that the text comes on like that. Okay. And if I'm using some third party apps, then what should have apps? So some of these text that I have put it here, fade out things, attendance, some of these things are also important to keep in mind when you are setting up. So as a checklist, these are some activities. I don't know, Shikta, I hope you'll agree that when you or your colleagues set up these kind of sessions, you probably do a lot of this, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, of course, we go through all those parameters in order to conduct
Correct.
actually the dry run.
Mhm. So similar is this is a sample I have shown from one of our projects where we had actually shared for the facilitator that in as a facilitator, what sort of pre-session checklist you need to do. This is from an actual project, right? So we had created this slide and given them that you should do this. If you have a poll, then you should develop the poll, certain examples there. Similarly, when you are actually delivering, now we are in this session already. So what are some of the things that we probably should be doing, right? So we should at the start, for example, set the context. Like I was saying that if we are having this FTP on leadership for Generation Next, then how does what I am saying feed into it? When you really look at it, you might think that we are talking about classrooms and this is about leadership. Then how is it tying in? So I tried to give you that bit of why I think this is important, because we have to design the classrooms as per how to engage these leaders so that they grow and learn and grow from it. And then also what kind of styles appeal to them for these future leaders, and how we as teachers can lead them both sides, right? So that was my attempt as at context setting. So similarly, if there are rules, right? Like for example, Shikta may tell us that you are free to interrupt the class and unmute yourself and ask questions, which you are free to, by the way. I don't know whether Shikta will allow or not, but I am allowing. If you want to have any questions, please interrupt me and ask. I don't. It's more interesting for me that way. Mm. The other part is that, or we might say that no, at the end of it, you can unmute and ask. Or we might say that at the end of it, you will only put your questions in chat and I or Shikta will read out and we'll answer. But these are rules, right? So what sort of rules do we follow? How is she taking the attendance, for example, right? And then also, we should have some time to talk to each other. Like for example, now we have like how many? I see 121 participants, right? So we have like I'm very like the minute I said that, one person I think quit. So 120 people, 100 people here. So I'm making people run away. It's okay, stay. So if we have, so we should try to be human, to have some informal chat, have some icebreaker, talk to each other. If it's just a one-way lecture, then even if I'm Einstein, you will get bored, right? So those are some of the kind of I'm not going to read out all the posts, but like I said, having a co-faculty or somebody, like you have a junior assistant teacher in the class, or sometimes the class representative is made to help out. It helps. Like for example, now when I'm in the presentation mode and I'm not able to see your chat, having Shikta there to help me out by reading some of those is helping me. That's like, it's like a, if not a co-faculty, it's like having somebody to help me out with it, right? Or troubleshooting if somebody is facing a problem, so that the main person is not interrupted or my thoughts are not interrupted. Okay. Some examples, I don't know how much you utilize some of these, but when we are talking about for example, this is a Microsoft Teams functionality I'm showcasing here, but Zoom will also have a lot of these. So even when you are using Microsoft Teams, for example, as your class, then you will have, you can actually utilize, wikis and Microsoft Forms, Stream, Poly, just look them up. This is nothing that I should sort of, start reading out to you or explaining in the context. Sorry, I have a very bad throat, and this is the national drink of 2000 Kadha. Nothing dangerous in here, though the color looks different. Sorry. So you have you have some of these features that you can use very well, for your.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but I don't think we need to justify even if we're having anything dangerous also. Women are that emancipated, I think.
No,
Please
it's not.
carry on.
It's not about gender. It's about etiquette during a meeting of not having
Yeah, right, ma'am.
certain
We
kind.
understand that. Yeah.
But thank you for that permission. So we have these kind of apps and all which we should really use. It's very useful. It's very easy. If you don't know and you'd like to know, I'm sure just go
Excuse
on
me,
the
ma'am.
internet.
May
You'll
I
find.
interrupt, ma'am?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I was just going through the previous slides and the way you were planning about the classrooms. We were just looking over it. I think there were a lot many resources involved into designing a classroom. Okay, regarding the technicalities and all the things, the resources involved were high, and that we can project on some larger scale institution. I'm talking about the government institution. Most of the cases when I go for various kinds of workshops or lecture, they don't have those resources, but then even they want the things to happen smoothly. How how does a faculty or a teacher or a trainer lead into those circumstances, like where the resources are not that happy enough that we just now saw in your previous slides? Thank you, ma'am.
Right. I didn't get your name, sir.
Myself, Deepak Mitra from Bihar, ma'am, which is already very backward area. Thank you, ma'am.
I think Bihar was known for its educational facilities,
Yes,
if I'm
ma'am.
not
In
mistaken.
the first session only, I put up a question. I didn't get the answer there. I said that Bihar Nalanda University was the first university, first largest university in the whole over world, and educated millions of students, but it was invaded. And sir was also talking about invasion. but then the total education flipped at all from what we were providing and what now we are providing. So the if the education status, if we see at that time and now, it's totally different,
Mhm.
and two difference. Okay, so whenever just it was a kind of a humor kind of thing, because when you name Bihar, everybody outside Bihar would think, okay, something negative. That's why I said
The same
Bihar.
goes for Orissa sometimes,
No,
sir.
Orissa is well developed. I have been there many times, and
I
the
know, but I'm
institution
just saying
KIIT also,
perception.
and it's
20
very
years
great.
back, 20 years back
From
when I
Bihar
was,
and Bengal, the both state, they are neighbor. It is a neighboring
yes,
state, and I have been visiting. It's good.
yes,
Anyway, my question was that only, ma'am. We are
yes,
struggling
yes.
with the
Understood.
those resources kind of thing. Thank you,
Yeah, yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah. So I have actually not even reached the part where it is very, very high-end digital resources required. But I think you got a sense of what I was trying to reach. So I would like to answer your question in two parts, answer, not in two parts, but talk about two things rather. Let me rephrase that. So the first thing is that when we are talking about this kind of high-end design, there are two requirements. Okay, one requirement is the instructional part of it. When I say instructional, it is how we teach it. What is the style of teaching? What is it that we want to include there? How much of it is depends on what we can do without some resources. And there are certain things where you will need very high-end resources, right? I cannot completely comment on what sort of resources is currently there in the government school or education system because unfortunately I am not as much exposed to that. What I am trying to do is just to show a mirror of what all can be achieved, and some of it can be achieved if we do not limit our mind. Because some of it, like for example, you build in an icebreaker, or you use a poll, or you do some of these activities. There, you don't need any resources. It's about probably having that time and planning it out. So I don't know what are the work schedules and how about other. Like, see, when somebody gives an example, all of us have to take it, internalize, and make it our own in different ways. How you will be able to apply this information vis-a-vis how somebody else, for example, another professor who is teaching, say, in a B school in I am Bangalore, will obviously have many different resources. But the principle, the basic teaching principle, the instructional principle is what? Is that give small pieces of information, give additional information about that, try to have interaction, try to have activity to engage the students. Some of these are basic educational principles that people would have read about in their education courses or B.Ed or whatever. The other part of it is exactly what you finger pointed, sir, where uh, those need high-end resources. Now, for example, if I am designing a simulation, and I'll show you an example later, if I am the person who I would have, like, for example, I know, like a Shikta maybe using some sort of Excel based mathematical modeling simulation to teach her economics, some classes. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. So what happens is that if she is not a digital company like mine, she will not have a graphic designer and a high end software coder and all that to do that. But what she has is a Microsoft Excel. But the thought is important, that she wants to use some real time realistic case study based simulation in the classroom instead of just teaching it like a theory. That she can very well do. Can she do a flash based, very slick looking, nice looking digital simulation? No. For that she will need thousands of rupees to come to a company like ours and try to do it. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but my thing is that part of it can be done if we try for it and we design for it in our classroom. I'm using the word design very loosely here. It's more of using those instructional tips that everybody probably does in their classrooms already. And to make it very nice looking and funky looking, yeah, for that you need resources.
No, I
Does
will
that
take a
make sense?
case, ma'am. Just a few days back, I was
Mm-hmm.
asked for a workshop taken for skill development for trainers of some group of trainers, women trainers, a large number of them, and I had to get involved into lot making those presentations and all that. But as I went there at the site and started to plug in my machine, I found that the projector is not working. The USB port has been broken down. Okay. then I had to move to storyboarding. So I had to explain them through stories. Then only they could understand what I was trying to tell them. So many of the times digital platforms don't work while in the classroom, because the listeners or the to whom we are interacting will differ in their various skill set or knowledge set or intelligence set. So that way, sometimes we have to go very primitive way to explain them. Sorry, ma'am, we can't listen you, ma'am.
Yeah. I was on mute. Sorry, it's a usual trope. So I was saying that technology has a way of basically letting you down when you need it most, right? And it's not only that you are going in some situation. I've been in really, high-end situations in, for example, the World Bank infrastructure in Washington, D.C. And that's where some PowerPoint does not open or the laptop doesn't start, right? And then you have to be very alert and agile. That's also the sign of a leader, sir. What you did there, what did you do? You were agile, you adapted, you innovated, right? Those are again the characteristics of a good leader, because you cannot rely on everything. Like I said, it's about the quality of your mind and your alertness and how you do it. So instead of using your PowerPoint, you started using something else, or you used a case study or a story. I have, so when, for example, when I travel for these kind of presentation, if just imagine this situation, similar situation like yours, but maybe my company has spent thousands of dollars to fly me to a certain place, and I have got 30 minutes of the client's time to make a pitch for $1 million project. Okay, so the stakes are like gone up, and that point in time, something as simple as my PowerPoint doesn't open. How do I deal with it? You believe me, there have been situations like that. So somewhere we have to innovate and do that. But yes, your point, I guess your base point is that in India and in a lot of our states, we are struggling because of lack of resources. We struggle because of resources or quality of things which are below par, and that's the reality. So there, where what will help is that innate alertness and adaptability which you just demonstrate in the example. But in all other situations where things are possible, things are going on correctly, what I am trying to show are some good strategies that work, and it's basis my experience of so many years. Some of it may be something that may come in handy for you, right?
Yes, ma'am. I welcome your strategy, ma'am, and we expect that in the near future, government will be taking some strategic decisions to have all the educational institutions as you are framing out. Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Deepak sir, just to facilitate, just to add few points to that, what Dr. Shwetalina has very rightly mentioned. See, every economy has a resource crunch. Only the degree of difference, that is where it lies. So, for instance, during this last 8 to 9 months, all of us, we have been doing all the work from home. And from home, whatever big may be the institution, the resources are limited. But we still try to pull along with whatever resources. We try to come up with various alternatives. Maybe a small case study was not in the terms of a funky animated form, but yes, of course, it was well designed in order to have a clear understanding with the students. There were simple technique with IL technique, or to come up with an interactive PowerPoint where we can engage the level of students. So these were some of the resources which were self-created without having much dependence. So that is what small things which one can do at their end in order to have a progressive form of thinking as far as to indulge or to involve students in any
Yeah.
form of classes.
Yes, ma'am. I really agree and appreciate your views, ma'am. It's really the same thing I wanted to say, that sometimes our real inner innovation works when we are presenting
Yes,
somewhere.
that's the main thing. That's the main thing, sir. Because
I think so. Each
without
and
that,
every
nothing will happen. Acha,
external
Shikta,
working.
Shikta, I think this is a perfect time to trigger our poll while we are talking.
Yeah,
Could
sure.
you please? Yeah,
Yes,
sorry,
I'm
was
doing it.
somebody saying something?
Yes, somebody have a question. In the meantime, I'm triggering the
I
poll.
would like to interrupt. I think so. Each and every one of us has confronted such type of situation during this pandemic. So,
Yeah.
in this situation, I think so. Each and every individual should come up with their own ideas to explain the things to the people, so that it would be understood in a better way. So not only alertness, but sometimes your wisdom also works out. Apart from it, you should have sufficient amount of knowledge regarding something which you want to explain. Suppose the aspect of PowerPoint or something like that doesn't works. So until and unless I don't think so, you would be having the knowledge. You cannot work out on all those things. Am I correct, ma'am?
Sir, I'll give you an example. I was once at a UNESCO conference and I had a presentation and it was a packed room. Okay. And what happened is that nothing was working. The presentation was on augmented reality and virtual reality solutions. So obviously I was carrying a lot of devices, and the group, my target audience were also teachers and faculty members who were very excited to actually get their hands and use it. And it's all about the experience, right? It's not about lecture. But my HoloLens was not starting up. This is not starting up. That is not starting up. So what I said that, okay, while my assistants are trying to work this up, I have some, you know, I was prepared for that eventuality. What I had done is I had some videos of how these things work. Okay. It's not the same experience, sir. But at least it is better than not doing anything and standing and saying, Acha, sorry, we are trying. Acha, sorry, we are trying. Because you do have a limited time, right? And there is the next session, the faculty will also arrive because this is an international conference.
Very
so
true.
I started showing the videos. Once the videos are on and they got engaged, then we got discussing that to what they are doing in their schools, what they know, what they don't know. I was speaking about different projects, and it was totally extempore. I had to sort of innovate there the way sir was saying earlier, right? And
Same.
then by that time, slowly, 2 out of the 3 devices started working. And we started doing it, and somehow, actually, the session, whatever it was, we started maybe just 5-10 minutes late, but people were so engaged that we continued, and we had almost 15-20 minutes more till I had to shoo everybody out because the other next session person was standing outside glaring at me. So at that point, later, just at the end of it, when we were working out, there was a group of teachers who had come from a convent, from a school somewhere in Chennai. And I think their principal was with them, who was a sister, and she was in her nun garb and all that. So she came and she just came and said that, come here. So she just called me and she put her hand on my head like that. And then she said, I was very, very happy to see that that the way you put up with this kind of sort of this disruptive situation, and you maintained your calm and you were pleasant throughout, and you kept us engaged till things came back on track. So that is grace under fire. That's the term she used. She said having grace under fire is a huge quality, and my child, you should maintain that. And I had actually tears in my eyes because I was incredibly stressed at that point in time. It was a very prestigious international stage, and that's the time when some things go wrong. So yeah, it's all about our innate, alertness, intelligence, adaptability, leadership. I don't know what you want to call it, or it is just being street smart and trying to, manage your way through and talk your way through it.
Very true. Very true.
So all of us have faced that, and that's why we are leaders today. That's why we are here, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be there. And our individual situations may be very different. Somebody may be working in a rural thing, somebody may be working in a metro or a smaller city or globally. It doesn't matter, right? We are all individuals at the end of the day. And we are only good and bad as we are. Resources to aayenge jayenge. Those are, like in Hindi, they say, wo madhyam hai. It's like a tool. Like I always say those who know me would know this is my favorite saying, that technology, for example, technology is fire. What will you use it for? Will you use it to burn yourself, or will you use it to cook your food? Or will you use it to light your house? Who is going to decide that? It's you and I who's going to utilize it. So there's no point blaming, like a lot of parents say, ye bachche na bigad gaye hain because of technology, because of internet, because of all these social media. I wouldn't be earning my salary if it was not for that technology and social media, sir. So it's a perspective. It's how you use it.
It's
Okay,
basically,
sir.
ma'am, sharpening the intelligence with technology. You can sharpen your
Exactly.
intelligence.
Because technology is just a tool, at the end of the day. It cannot replace you. It can replace you in repetitive things. All right, Shikta. So if we end the poll, I'm saying like 50% of almost 50% of individuals are saying that use real life examples.
I
Okay.
haven't filled it up. I'm not kind of
Okay.
again.
No problem. But yeah, the highest is really using real life examples. I think that's really a
Ma'am,
almost,
actually, I think we could have gone for more than one this thing.
sorry.
Option one, more than one option.
Sure,
We're
sure.
using
Yeah,
real life
multiple options.
multiple options. Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, it was a deliberate trope. I am after all an instructional designer, so I will try these tricks, na? Nahi to kya fayda? So you can use multiple, but what happens when we use multiple, na? We don't get very sharpened results because everybody will go for at least 3. That is a response set, right? So what is the topmost thing that you all think? The topmost very clearly is almost 50% of you said that it is using real life examples. There you have your answer, because to make it realistic, that's how you can do it, right? So I just wanted to show that, because in our work also a lot of these things that we have been discussing is actually like that.
Yes.
So we'll just move ahead. Similarly,
Hello.
you can, yeah, yes, somebody talking. Shikta, could you mute others, please?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So I was saying that when we are talking about activities, you can even have individual activities, you can have breakout team activities or group activities. So I think it's still not muted.
Okay.
Hello. Can I ask something?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I think just now you said technology sharpens intelligence. Is it so? That's what you said, ma'am?
I said,
No, I
sir.
didn't.
I
No, no,
said,
it
sir. It is
was
Deepak Mitra,
Deepak
sir.
Mitra who had
Okay. Okay. Because somehow I feel technology only aids in, maybe it speeds up the decision making. It aids as a tool. It gives more analytical input. It shortens time. But how it does it sharpens an individual's intelligence?
Let me tell you, if Sikta ma'am allows, being a technology
Yeah,
background.
sure. Yeah, sure, sir. Of course you can.
Okay. May I know your name, sir?
3 months.
Hemant, sir, actually, you see, we in decision making, we use technology too much, and today, in modern days, the whole decision making is technology backed up. Let me talk about this blockchaining, or let me talk about this case of a decision making in simple e-commerce site. It's everywhere this AI is feeding up. So there,
Okay.
the chances of making mistakes, we are reducing to a very high level. So somewhere when we learn through this technology, it will sharpen your intelligence in indirect or direct way. I think that I take it that way only. I may be wrong, but I take it that way. Thank you.
Sorry, sir, I disagree. The basic thing is there are
It's open.
certain situations.
Sir, if I may interrupt, let's agree to disagree.
Very, madam,
I
there are
said let's
certain
agree to disagree.
not use technology. Say, the judges wheresoever they are taking up the decisions related with somebody's death, you cannot use the aspect of technology.
Yeah, this is such a forum that everybody would have their own points of agreement and disagreement to put to, and we will turn into a debate henceforth.
Sorry,
Yeah, I think
sorry.
we can take that offline. I'm sure
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys will get enough time to interact with each other. And technology is, like I said, it's everybody's favorite, whether a favorite villain or favorite hero. But it's
Example
like,
of group activity, ma'am. The present slide.
yes. Sorry, were you asking a question or?
No, ma'am. I said that this debate was actually example of a group activity that the
Yeah,
present slide
it
shows.
is, it is actually an example of the VUCA world where the trainer did not plan a group activity, but it just happened.
So that shows the spontaneity of the program, how it can take up.
But it's fun. It's fun. That's what I love it, because that's what makes it come alive. That's why I encouraged Shikta, without your permission, for people to jump in and ask. Because that's, like I always joke when I go to clients and talk about it. I mean, we used to be Tata Interactive Systems, and now after Macmillan took us over, we are called MPS Interactive Systems. So I always say, hey, interactivity is my middle name. It's a bad joke, but it gets a rise out of them all the time. So I love interactivity that way. So yes, even for an individual activity, even for this one, I had, I'll share this file with you later. I had like sort of a post work where I thought I could give you an activity individually. If you are interested to do it and share it back with me, I promise to look at it and give my feedback. We'll go into that later. Okay, so let's just move on. So the part that where we were just basically doing some gyanbazi and giving some principles is gone. I just wanted to show you some examples. Now Deepak sir will again say that इसमें बहुत resources लगते हैं. Yes sir, लगते हैं. But you can make the same thing. I'm saying don't go, don't confuse content and presentation. So content part is still here. The presentation depends. If I am designing it, you will get some kind of a, just a nice looking PPT. If I get my graphics designer to do it, you'll get a funky looking PPT like this. That's the difference. That's the difference with resources. But the thinking, that is something that is not costing that much money. It costs the innovative thinking and our time. So if we were just go, I'll just try and show some of these examples. This is a example from PepsiCo. It's a simulation that is done as a VILT, right? And as an ILT as well. So ILT, obviously, I'm sure all of you know, instructor-led training, VILT, virtual instructor-led training. So we actually create this facilitation, this guide for the facilitators like ourselves who are taking these workshops. Are you able to see the PowerPoint that opened from the presentation?
Yeah.
So we give this facilitator checklist. I'm just showing these slides that we designed for the client. So this is anyways just content. All of that, what material, where it will be, what is your checklist, some of the notes, what you should be doing, what's the agenda. So we prepare all of this and give it to the faculty. Here, when you guys take your classes, you have to probably do all of it yourselves, right? That's the difference. But you would still be doing this, maybe not as laid out like this, because you would be one individual who's doing it for your own class. Why do you want it laid out like that? And why should you waste your time putting so much? So that way, how do you prepare for facilitation? Practically, what do you do? Production में आपको क्या ज़रूरत है? How do you handle the logistics? I'm sorry. Just an example. Now, when you are inside a session, then how the slides will look. Now see that the design and the look is the same. So this is what is actually used in the simulation during the classroom. So it gives you that entire thing that this is how you start. I'm sure, people who are doing business simulations or, in the field of finance, economics, OB, they must be doing this. This is on joint business planning for this I designed for the PepsiCo team, right? So there, it's giving you the full breakup of kis stage mein kya karoge from the introduction to the debrief. This is the the macro design, and this is the cycle or the model they are using. Again, the agenda is here. Now remember, this is for the participant or the students. What I had showed you earlier was for the faculty. So this is a breakout room activity, right? So they join the breakout room, then they do their tasks and they return to the minimum. So then in the breakout room, this is the simulation how they go through. So they go into the discovery stage where they see all this information. Then they get 20 minutes to do actually the discovery meeting and discussions, like you have your role plays in the class, right? And then one more activity. So it's, it goes on like that. This is one more ILT, BLT example. This is for Cisco. This is on consulting enablement. Very simple, like you design your own classes. Day-wise agenda, objective. I mean, because there is a visual designer working on it, I'm hoping it will look a little more sleeker. It will be standardized. It will have the corporate colors, right? Branding will be as per the corporate. Otherwise, when you see the content instructionally, it is how you design your class. The presentation is different. I'm just showing this to get an idea of if you had some resources or if you had some exposure, how to what detail one can do it or one may not do it, right? So that's a break. You go into the next module, then you have the role play discussion here, right? What are the elements you touch upon? So that's how that goes. So that was an example. Similarly, now we reach the evaluate and improve stage. So the classroom has happened, right? So now suppose our session has happened. After this, if I had, for example, if I had given an activity or I have a post work, we can do the learner performance. If my learning objectives for this session was in a way where I was teaching you something, then you would go and apply that, then we would go and assess your performance, then it would assess my performance, it would assess your performance, it would assess that technically kuch issue hua kya, completion status kya hai, how many people attended, how many people stayed on till the end, you know, how many people asked questions or participated. These are the matrices, and sometimes from our learning management systems, we get this kind of charts and data, which we then review to see and try to improve it further. So it's like a continuous feedback loop. Similarly, आप आपके class लेते हैं, then you come back, you know, sometimes you come back feeling satisfied. Sometimes you know yourself, you know, because you are educators. You get the pulse that, hey, you know, I probably this didn't go as well, you know, I could have done better, or I could have done differently, or maybe this group of children did not react to it. Yeah, this group did not enjoy it. So you, that next time when I go now, probably I will use this example instead of that, and that may appeal. We do this kind of sort of modifications to our own delivery, right? So I'll just move on to some more case studies. These are a little more detailed. Is that all right? Boring? Okay, continue.
You can continue, ma'am.
Fascinating, ma'am. The presentations, colors, combinations are great. That's professional.
That is the point. But without that also, if our content is correct, sir, it will engage. Because अगर content अच्छा नहीं होना, आप खाली presentation करके, it's like a film star, right? Some film stars are very attractive but can't act for nuts. Some film stars, even if not attractive, their acting is so powerful that they get you. And when both are there, that's the best combination, right? And remember that we charge a lot of money and take a lot of time for these presentations and these kind of digital things. So it's okay. It is supposed to be good, right? So don't worry about that. Thank you. So I just wanted to show this example. This is something we are designing for one of the big five in the consulting world. It's a very detailed 3-level simulation, okay, on business uncertainties and all that. And the levels are that it starts from the VP level, then it is the CEO level, and then it goes into the chairman of the business board. Every company has a business review committee, right? The chairman of that board level. So, and it is all set in a fictitious planet, which is Xander, and this is happening, uska main, pura wo story bana hai. It's a very, very detailed thing, which we have been working for almost 6 to 8 months now. And we have just done 2 levels. The chairman level is being worked on, right? That is just indicating what sort of complexity goes into it. So this is not, I mean, you probably don't need to apply this, but just to show how some of these things in the digital world are moving. And some of these, this is not off the shelf. This is something we have customized and developed because we are not in the business of off the shelf. But a lot of organizations can buy off the shelf simulations also and use for their classrooms, right? So if we look at the storyboard, you know, like you mentioned that you did the storyboard. Let me try to open that. Sorry. I'll just come back. I'm just trying to open the embedded files and then I'll go back to the presentation mode. Just bear with me a second. So, let me just share my screen again. Let me know if you can see a PDF file by any chance.
Yes, it's visible. Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, so this one is sort of the storyboard for it. It's probably not very readable. I'm just trying to reach the interface to blow it up a little. Is it readable? No? Unfortunately, it's coming up at the...
It's legible, ma'am.
So this is actually the detailed storyboard of just one of the levels, which you can see if you see the paging, it's like 93 pages long. Okay. So the screen that you were seeing on the PowerPoint, this screen, is it visible when I toggle between the PPT and the PDF and all that?
Yeah, it is.
Thanks. So this is the storyboard, you know, like welcome to Xander, okay? So it says this is the planet, uske bare mein details aa raha hai, demographic shift and urbanization, scarcity. So all these our writers have written. We have made this up. I can't tell you how much fun we had. So technical breakthrough, planet, this is all fictitious. There is of course no planet called Xander, right? Then we are going into Gaithi, which is a region in Gander. Then we are showing what are the main sectors they have: agriculture, artisan, industry. So पूरा उसका business background, planet का, वो area का, ethnic groups क्या है. It's like creating a alternate universe. Then we go into our organization, which is the Future A Bank. And then उसके bank के बारे में पूरा detail है, expansion ये वो. Then we are introduced to the people in the bank. And there is a SWOT analysis, okay? And you are introduced to the organizational structure of the bank, okay? Then you go into, we have this, every level has these 3 epochs. Epoch is like a time phase, right? So this epoch is, we called it no country for old banks, okay? So now traditionally they used to give gold loans, but now that younger generation is not buying gold so much. So the business is dwindling. So they are thinking of going into retail. Then what do they do? So there is a business problem that comes. Then they look at different types of, you know, decisions. Do they go into the risk finance? Do they go into auto finance, microfinance, or do they take a working capital loan? So these are their decision points. Then this is what you have the detailed, you know, all the leaders, what are they telling you? They are chatting with you. Somebody has called you. Somebody has messaged you. That's how it happens in the real business world, right? So they each is, all these seniors are giving their viewpoints to you. And you are playing a role. So what do you do? And हर एक factor का आपको details मिलता है. Huge number of parameters to process. Okay, so that's how it goes. I mean, I've just wanted to show you the size of a storyboard. Now, if I go to the modeling of it, right, this is the model board. So if I go to decisions epoch 1, this is how, based on what my content person has written in that PDF, this is how the modeler, okay, will do the Excel file. And then this is all, they are showing the same thing, you know, what are some of the reactive measures? What are some of the non-reactive measures and capabilities, right? So this is, it's very fairly detailed, right? When you go into each one of, for each epoch, you have that filled in and you have the backend data there. So वहाँ पे आप जो भी decisions करोगे screen पे, basis this data that you have fed in, it will dynamically keep changing because it is a simulation, right? It's number driven. So all these epochs, you know, all the 3 epochs are then detailed out here in the Excel. Okay. Similarly for VP, you have these scoring epochs, you know, the rupees and all. So I'll just close this and I'll just show you go back to the slide deck. And this is how the screens look like. But uska backend hard work is in that Word document जिसका मैंने PDF आपको दिखाया and the Excel file. Basis that, so the content person like me has written the storyboard. Basis conversations with subject matter experts. My expertise is in psychology. I'm an organizational psychologist. I'm a HR person. I'm a learning designer. What do I understand of these financials? So obviously I will work with a subject matter expert. So maybe somebody from here, like our OB professors here, will be my subject matter expert, who maybe the client has provided or I have taken, right? Then I have mathematical modeler or a technical guy who will do this Excel file. Then finally, graphics or visual design will come in to design this course. So this is what it looks like, you know, new world. If you see these words here, welcome to Xander and all, has come from the storyboard. So this is how it shows, you know, so based on whatever you have clicked, you show all these details. Each of these are clicks, you know, you learn about the bank. Then you learn about the organizational structure that I showed you in the storyboard, right? And if you click each of these people, you get a little bit blurb about them. So here we are looking about this person, you know, Costa. So that's the organizational structure, who will come and advise you and all of that. Then this is like something of a question will come up. This is your first event, you know. This is the point. Are you going to do this? Are you going to do this, this? What is this? This is that working capital loan. हमने वहाँ storyboard में देखा था ना, that what are the 3 or 4 options you want to do? What kind of finance? And basis which one you choose, you click that and you take your decision. Right? Again, there is some open-ended question sometimes where you type in and you submit. Basis all of that, remember that there is a scoring rubric in the Excel file. So basis all of that, you get your scores and you get some sort of a thing where you go up and down. You might go from VP to CEO, but at CEO level, you do very bad. Then you come back to VP. And somewhere the aim is to go through all levels to reach the chairman level. And this kind of a game is for very, very senior VP and higher professionals in the banking and finance industry. That's the target audience, right? Okay. From corporate, I'll just very quickly, we are also reaching the end of our time. So from corporate, I'll just very quickly move into a college or university kind of thing, where you may have heard of how we use technologies like, artificial or augmented reality, not artificial reality. Sorry. So AR, which is augmented reality, VR, which is virtual reality, and MR, which is mixed reality. Any familiarity with these, if I may ask? AR, VR, or MR?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone? Okay, so I'll just move on. This particular course for which we have devised this, it's an engineering course on mechatronics. Okay, for this Central Pediment Community College, and it had a proper, it is a blended hybrid course. So it has actual professors who come in and lecture in the classroom. It has web-based training, which is informational, like a tutorial. It has job aids, it has virtual labs, and it has this AR and VR. So in the AR part, artificial reality, what happens is that you are looking at something through the glasses and all, and it's all artificial, it's all augmented. So you're looking at it and it's triggering. So you look at a machine and you do something with this, something is triggered. So augmented means there is a physical world, on it you put something and it is augmented. In VR, it is completely virtual. So you are using a lens, so it is completely closing your vision and everything you are seeing inside that as a movie, and you are in a 360-degree kind of a universe. And in mixed reality, it is a mix of both, right? These days we also call XR, which is extended reality. So yeah, you go from this to that to this to that, it's all mixed. So it gets extended. That's the latest term. So when we
That
look at
requires a
familiar,
lot of sensors, no, ma'am? Sorry to interrupt.
no, not really, not in the context
In
that we are using it for.
augmented part?
Yeah, it doesn't require sensors. The sensors will be built into your software. And sometimes you might want to use a QR code or something. Then just say, for example, like when you buy something at the supermarket, they scan it, na? So a scanner takes some sort of a barcode, isn't it? That's why the price goes to the machine. They show a soap and they show that handheld.
That is the
It takes it.
barcoding and
Yeah,
QR
so that
coding
is
that we
like
do the
QR
products, right?
coding also we use hota hai kabhi kabhi. Like we did for the Aditya Birla Group, for Hindalco we did, where on their equipment in mines, na, because mines it becomes a safety concern, right? So that's why they use a lot of AR and VR for like Reliance, Aditya Birla Group, even Canadian company like Cenovus. We've done a lot of work for them where it's about PPE. How do you use your safety equipment? You go into those drains and those mines, shafts, and you do all that through your AR and VR. Only after that are you let into the mine. And it has drastically brought down their accident numbers. So one is, of course, like you put a scan code or a QR code or a barcode. The other is that the moment it is image or object recognition. So that is built into the software. तो आपके device में जो software होगा वो app आप चलाओ, and then you go and focus it on say this laptop. So that my software will read. It has object recognition or it has image recognition. So it will read that this is a laptop. और उसको मैंने program किया है कि ये laptop दिखे तो launch this program. Anyway, let's not get into that. See, even I am not a technical person, but by virtue of working in that as a designer, I also have to understand the pros and cons. I have to understand what is possible, what is not possible in a certain technology, also in a budget and time. Because otherwise I might give a very brilliant design, but either it is not affordable or not doable in the time, or technology will not support it. आप समझ रहे हैं? I have to work with those limitations. So my work, I am not the one who is going it. So my work is like, say, a movie director or an architect of a house. I am not the mistri who is going and putting the int and the cement, nor the carpenter who is actually doing the stuff, nor even the interior designer. But I am the architect on whose vision this entire house is being built. And as an
Okay, ma'am.
architect, as an
Understand,
architect,
understand.
I have to do that. So let me just,
Thank you, ma'am.
so here I've just taken snapshot videos of what happens when the student is using these devices. So that because you are not here with me where I can use those devices with you. So that is where it happens. I'll just see if I can play this video.
The Festo MPS 500 system has 6 stations connected by a
There's
transport
audio
or
coming.
conveyor system. Each station represents a typical production
Here
environment
first they are
process.
just being shown because
The
it is
conveyor system
familiarized.
controls the material
So they are
flow
being
and facilitates
familiarized with
communication
that
between
particular, machinery or whatever they're doing.
all 6 stations.
So once we move there and we skip it, we go
The
in.
visual inspection station
So
checks
you
whether
can
the
actually
features
manipulate
required
this
for
in
assembly are
3D and
present.
see it.
If present, the station flags the pallet by its number to stop at the robot assembly station where the workpiece will be processed. If the features are not, green controller on button illuminates.
So what is happening here that I'm
Notice
just
that the
going into
automatic
this
off
virtual
indicator
environment
illuminates with a white
and going
light
and
once the
manipulating
PLC
and
has
seeing this.
initialized.
Because I'm just learning. It is
Step 4.
familiarized.
With the automatic off indicator illuminated, press the automatic on
This is all
button.
that entire machinery and all of that.
This starts the
is
conveyor
created
belt.
in 3D
The pneumatic
by us.
stops allow the pallets to move freely along the conveyor.
So when I
It's time to get the individual stations up and running. The cylinder body is picked up and it
So somebody like me would have gone into their actual labs, physical labs at Charlotte, and taken these videos and photographs, basis which we have sat and created all these 3D models so that we can show the movement very realistically. And when they put the trigger, the student actually sees all this happening. Remember this instructionally, this is just the teach part. So they are not really doing anything, they are just learning about it.
its orientation is adjusted by rotating it
There's
to be
audio and,
aligned with the
music as
locating
well
pin
with
of
it.
the assembly position. The robot
I'll
then
just
moves.
move on in interest of time. Now this is a VR, that was AR, this is VR. Because what happens here is that completely I'm using sort of a, HoloLens kind of a thing. Not HoloLens, but the Google Eye and all that. And then I go in and here I have to interact. So when you see a hand or a glove going, that is actually my hand going in. And I've just taken the video of whatever interaction I'm doing inside that device, right? So here I have to go and do some activity. Because so I have to go and select a station that I need to work on. Is it a testing and distribution? Is it robotics? What is it, right? So I just go in there. So here I'm moving my head and I'm viewing this, hence this sort. So this is my hand. So I'm actually just tapping into nothing, right? But it then loads depending on what I'm searching. So I'm just doing this in space. And here we have approximated their actual physical lab, right? So I'm actually turning my head like this, like that, upper, niche, and hence I am scanning the entire environment. And I can explore, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, right? So the moment I go near one of the things, it immediately, I touch it on screen, then it immediately shows me the labels. Ki ye kya hai? So it has asked me a question. I have done it correctly. It says well done. So I continue. Remember, isme physical object koi nahi hai. It is all showing in front of my eyes on that device. And I'm using my handset and I'm doing the controls to do the selection or do something that I'm being asked to do this. So I'm being asked questions and I'm doing something. So this is like a test and it is completely VR, just to give you an idea. And I'll just move on. And this is the mixed reality. This is actually something we had done for a military of a country. And I don't know if you can guess from the uniforms, which country, a European country. So this is how they train, and we designed the HoloLens training where the army, the trainer is actually instructing the candidate, and then the candidate goes and they have a model of a tank and they work on it, and then he goes to the actual tank and does it. But because this is a video, we had the actual tank there with the recruit. But that's how the training happens for real in that army. And we designed that.
Auch die Klassenzimmersituation erhält eine ganz neue Bedeutung.
So he's using a HoloLens here, right? So that's the tank. So he gets it and places it. Those are the hand gestures I was talking about. Shikta, is anybody pinging something? I see some flashes of orange. And I know I have success over.
No, yes, they are mentioning yes to your questions.
Überbrücken Sie Raum und Zeit und stellen Sie die virtuelle Welt Ihren Auszubildenden zur Verfügung, wo auch immer sie sich gerade befinden.
So now this is the student, okay, who's the soldier. He's also wearing and he's
Stabsadjutant Wachmeister Walti.
saying hi to his instructor.
Guten Tag, Wachmeister Walti. Heute geht es um die Filterschutzanlage vom ABC
So we are
Aufklärungsfahrzeug.
over time. I'll just take 2 minutes more. Is that okay?
Als erstes
It's okay.
machen wir die Türen zur Filterschutzanlage auf. Jetzt klappt
So he is
die
actually showing
Abdeckung
here,
vom
if you can notice,
Vorfilter
because the
nach
audio
oben.
we don't understand. He's showing how this trap small door is here and वहाँ पे आप how you take out that container
Als
box
drittes
and how you
nehmen
operate
wir
that.
die Abdeckung
Just for the
vom
purpose of this video, they have
Hauptfilter
taken a
weg.
very simple task. He is showing how that is done. All that is done.
Jetzt
through
habt ihr
hand
Zugang
design.
zu den Filtern
These two individuals
und
are in two
könnt den
different
Zustand
places.
von denen auch überprüfen. Euer Auftrag. Ihr entfernt jetzt die Abdeckung von der Filterschutzanlage und tut nachher den Zustand.
Now he tells
Done
this
that.
guy to go and do it. Okay, so now this guy does it. He's the training.
Falsch.
So
Das ist der
galat kiya.
Hauptfilter. Nehmt zuerst die Abdeckung vom Vorfilter
So
weg.
again, he is doing
Richtig.
it.
Sehr gut.
Right,
So, dann
so
könnt
that
ihr
is
jetzt
done.
abnehmen.
Von Raum und
Then what
Zeit Ihr
happens is
Wissen
then
aus.
now that he is trained
Nutzen Sie die
so
Unterstützung des
he's taking the
Virtuellen
actual
für
time.
Ihren Erfolg in der realen
That's
Welt.
where he is actually doing it.
Interagieren Sie auf eine neue Art und Weise miteinander, zum Greifen nah mit der HoloLens. Wir wünschen Ihnen viel Spaß.
Yeah, so that's as much. So I just wanted to end it. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you are able to utilize little bit of it, if not all of it. But the point I wanted to end with was that yes, we talk about VUCA all the time, but there is another VUCA. We have all spoken about, intellect and understanding and agility, all of that. So we can look at it as vision, understanding, clarity, agility. And I see when we talk back to leadership, I see that all teachers are leaders in a certain way, right? And how do we lead? We lead even by our interaction with our students and with our stakeholders. So we have to model whatever we want them to be doing. We have to also constantly listen. Remember the main thing of the panicagogy or the pandagogy, that we have to be empathetic. Empathy is an important, I guess, trait in a trainer or a teacher, because it's a leadership trait, right? We have to mentor. We also have to learn to innovate. Like so many of you shared examples of how suddenly in certain situations we have to innovate. We also have to change our mindsets, and we have to keep on learning all the time. I guess, why have all of you enrolled in this course? Obviously not all sessions, not the whole 5 day, 7 day. It's not as if somebody's going to grind everything and make you drink it. It's never as easy as that. Learning is never like that. But I think because all of you have that interest or will to learn, to develop yourself, you come into it. And from here, you will take back something, if not a lot of things. So that's something that, I mean, not to give any bhashan, you guys are there much more knowledgeable, but I just wanted to say that, as leaders, as teachers, we have to keep on learning. So teaching in my mind is like leadership, and leadership or teaching, you have to be learners. We all have to be lifelong learners. I think that's the message I would like to end with, right? And my love for drama and literature is that, I don't know if, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Alice in the Wonderland. That's the book that Through the Looking Glass. And there is a Red Queen effect. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but this is a quotation that the Red Queen makes. Alice in Wonderland is, of course, a children's book, but it is beautiful in the sense that it gives a lot of philosophy for life, right? And it's one of my favorites because of that. It's like a parable. So current situation is like this, I thought. That's why I wanted to end it with this, where they say that, okay, we are doing a lot of things, we are running constantly. But Ajkal, the world is such that just to retain our positions, just to be where we are, we have to keep on doing things. And if we actually want to move ahead or develop, then we have to do it doubly fast. That's the reality, and that's the Red Queen effect that is used, all that. So that's it from me. Long session for you all. Go get a cup of coffee, tea, whatever.
Thank you, ma'am. One more request, ma'am. Can you please share some names of softwares that you use for the content designing in your industry? Because those
Content design doesn't need software. Are you talking about the overall project design, like
yeah, ma'am.
some
Yeah,
of the
ma'am.
solutions I showed? Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like you use the common is Articulate, right? Articulate is like the common one,
Okay.
like the business simulation I showed you is Articulate. When
Articulate.
you are looking at the AR, VR and all that, those are high end. Those use Unity 3D. Okay. Those two are the main things. Earlier it used to be Flash, but Flash has been phased out from December 2020. So currently we use these things, and if it is the videos that we do, then we design it in Articulate or we design it in Photoshop, and then it's animated through After Effects, kind of a software, and then it is converted into a video and embedded into the course. So the actual videos or nuggets become like MP4s. Does that help?
Ma'am, hi.
Yeah.
That was a
Thank you,
really
ma'am. Thank you,
interactive
ma'am.
session. Vinita this side.
Hi, Vinita.
Ma'am, can you just change that slide? I need to see that slide once again.
Which
That
one, ma'am?
teachers as a leaders. Yeah, this one. Yes. I was actually writing it down.
I will be sharing the slides with each one of you.
Okay, ma'am. If
ये ना ये मैंने एवे ही डाला है. आपको पसंद नहीं आता है तो ड्रॉप कर दो 2-4, ऐड कर दो 2-4, क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
No, ma'am. That's what. At least we need some points, right? So just writing it down. Thank you, ma'am.
सॉफ्टवेयर ट्रेनिंग तो मैम 3 ड्रॉप हो जाएंगे.
सॉरी,
सॉफ्टवेयर ट्रेनिंग में 3 ड्रॉप हो जाते हैं मैम.
क्या ड्रॉप हो जाता है?
3 पॉइंट इसमें से ड्रॉप हो जाते हैं.
क्यों सर?
अरे मैम ट्रेनर्स ट्रेनिंग जिनको देते हैं ना उनके सुनने लगे तो प्रोजेक्ट किधर का किधर चला जाता है.
So that is most important, listening and absorbing. So this entire slides or things which are there, it is of course with due permission of the resource person, I'm definitely going to share with all of them.
So, Shikta, I'll remove some of the project related information and share with you. Not a problem. See, these are slides that I have put together, so not a problem at all, right? And as I said, this is my vision, and your version of this slide may be different. But as long as all of you agree with my philosophy that each one of us are leaders in our own right, and because in this world right now we need to demonstrate all of this, and that lifelong learning is the basic mantra. This, in the last 6 months, I have enrolled, I have done an art history course, I have done a films course, and I have done Articulate basics. Apart from that, we are in the corporate world and working on global geographies. So we are 10 to 12 hours, 14 hours every day are work hours. But doing these kind of activities are things that keeps me motivated, that makes sense to me, because those are my passions. And even coming and doing these kind of sessions also I enjoy. So that's why I do it. So similarly, all of us are stretched for time. Please do whatever engages and motivates you. But remember the elasticity of the brain and mind. Keep on exercising it. Body नहीं exercise होता है, मेरा just brain exercise होता है sadly.
Yes, Shraddha ma'am is with us. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Shweta. Wonderful session. I totally agree with your philosophy. And I'm really happy to hear you. Wonderful session.
Thank
Look
you so
forward
much,
to
Shraddha.
know more.
Sure. Thanks, Shraddha.
So any other questions from the participant?
Everybody wants tea and coffee now.
Yeah.
Or
So
a
if not-
bio break.
Yes, we are from long. It has been 4.5 hours. So I thank each one of them. It was really being an afternoon session, but yet it was most engaging. And I hope many of them, they have taken up good amount of stuff with their learning in the learning basket, and they will certainly improvise upon with certain kind of gesture which you have given to them. As we know that the Gen Next or the Generation Next is all moving towards a different kind of hybrid classroom. You see a standard 2 or standard 3 students is well adept with coding. And very recently, the young boy of 4 years who has gone for the Microsoft has won a billionaire in the world. So that all speaks about that what kind of generation in future the teachers or the leaders are going to face. So if we are going to face such kind of generation, again, we have to adapt to certain changes. And for that, I hope this session was really, really effective. And thank you, Dr. Svetlana Vidyadhar, again, for keeping our request and sharing your experience and your valuable insights. Thank you so much, ma'am. Looking forward to see you again in few sessions.
Thanks, and thanks for the interaction, everyone here. I'm glad that you guys felt, the need to interact and talk to me, to engage me, to question me. Always love that part. So thank you so much, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye, everyone. Stay safe, stay focused.